Vote for me was a vote for Ocean Springs, and I mean it. You know, everybody that knows me knows I love Ocean Springs.
Tuesday, voters in Ocean Springs voted in a new mayor in the Republican primary.
Yep, Bobby Cox now the winner and mayor-elect because there are no other party candidates in the race. So he joins us now, and congratulations, Bobby. And it's a pretty overwhelming victory here for you. A lot of people thought this race might be a little bit closer, but the voters came out and they basically said who they wanted in office. Got to make you feel good. You're still, you know, in the honeymoon phase, I guess you could say, afterwards. Still got to be a good feeling, though.
It's an excellent feeling, and then the smile's been glued to my face since Tuesday, and now the hard work needs to begin. But yes, it really felt good Tuesday for the residents to speak up and let their voice be heard at the polls.
It seems like the residents wanted change in the mayor's office and in the board of aldermen, a majority change there as well in the board. What is bringing out this sentiment for change in the city, you think?
You know, I think the residents just want to be heard. They want communication, transparency, and you know, one thing we all share is the love for the city, and I think that's really what spoke up.
So I guess for you, Wednesday, hey, congratulations. Now, what are you going to do about this? What was the first thing out of the gate for that, and what are some of those things that was on your agenda to begin with, I guess?
Well, you know, being in office for 13 years,
right.
You know, it's not what change I want. It's what change the board wants, and the board has to listen to the residents. So those changes will come as the voices are heard, delivered to the board, and they're going to come. But as far as Bobby, I will be there as a public servant. I will listen to the people. I will not turn a deaf ear on anybody. So we're going to hear them out, and whatever the board decides the direction we need to go is the direction we'll be headed.
Now, as far as hearing what the people want, I think you've had a pretty good ear for it for pretty much your entire life with your family's business of the barbershop, and you continue to do that. So people coming through the barbershop, what kind of things have they told you that they want to see done in the city?
Well, you know, basically they just want to be heard.
Yeah.
And they thank goodness me being in the public's eye as a barber and alderman at large for 13 years, they put the trust in me, and that's, you know, I've got to live up to it. I've got to step up and work hard. As far as Ocean Springs, they don't want to see Ocean Springs rebuilt, and I mean, our character has been there for years, and they want to keep our character, and I think that's what we need to work to do.
Yeah, that feels like the real challenge is that balance between keeping the small town feel, the beautiful oak trees and the history of the town, and then expanding whatever direction it is. You know, recently had annexation, so that's really the challenge, is finding that balance, and that's pretty tough to do, I would imagine. Balance
between progress and preservation, that's very important to Ocean Springs.
Yeah, but Ocean Springs has become a popular spot, really one of the most popular spots in the state to bring people in, and with it comes overcrowding downtown, parking struggles and all. So, you know, any ideas there to how to accommodate? The crowds aren't going away.
The crowds are there to stay, and Ocean Springs is we're on the map. Everybody knows where we're at. They're coming from everywhere. Parking is a good problem to have. You know, when I started cutting hair 35 years ago, my first shop was right there downtown, right in the middle of all of it. And, you know, we still had parking problems back then, and you didn't have all of this, the restaurants and all the nightlife at that time. So, you know, parking's not a problem. It's just we need to make sure we have more of it to welcome the folks to Ocean Springs.
Do you feel like now, because you know, you've been an alderman for a long time, you've heard those concerns, being in the mayor's position and having a newer council, pretty much almost the whole council turnover, not quite all of it, but pretty close. You feel like that's more of a reboot and a reset for the city, and you can almost have a clean slate? I mean, there's still things that are going to be talked about, but as far as leadership and that type of thing.
Yeah, I think, you know, I was fortunate enough when I started in politics. I had a board that had 16 years plus, 16 to 32 years on that board. So I was lucky enough to come in and have those guys take me under their wing, and you know, we've had a pretty solid board all the way up. This will be a new beginning because it will be all but 2 members of the board will be new.
Yeah, a little bit of a learning curve there,
Yeah.
I'm sure, as well,
Yeah,
to
will
get
be.
through. But something that sort of brought controversy to the city in the last few years, and that's this urban development plan. Is there a way, and basically that comes down to, like you were talking to, preserving areas of the city while accommodating growth. Any ideas there, or where do you feel like that urban development plan will go?
Well, I think the main problem with the urban development plan was the way it was rolled out. I think communication was majorly a part of that failing and being such an issue. You know, as far as I'm concerned, the urban development plan, I think every city in the state pretty much has a plan. We need to go back to the drawing board. We need to look at that, whether we want to, you know, increase the urban development map or keep it where it is or do away with it. I think in Ocean Springs, we're pretty lucky that, you know, you put a piece of property up for sale, people are waiting in line to buy it.
Yeah, it's going fast.
And so that all has to be discussed, and we have to see what our new board wants to go, where they want to go with it.
Do you see things happening down on Front Beach? There's been some times where there was going to be some condo development, not huge, but enough to take away maybe some of that small town charm. You see things there happening as well. Of course, they've got that. You go there and you always see people. When I used to do live shots there were people every morning. I think I may have seen you down there a few times, running and jogging, and that's really kind of where a lot of people get their day started. Seems like that might be a spot, not necessarily to build up, but things happening down there. Yeah.
Front Beach is happening,
Yeah.
and maybe I need to be down there walking much more. But no, Front Beach is a happening spot. But you know, Bill, when I was growing up, you know, they had to make Front Beach one way because it was so popular back then.
I remember that.
So
Yeah.
you know, it's always been a hot spot. So I think it's a plus for the city. I think we just need to, you know,
Keep it
manage
moving. Yeah.
Keep it moving.
Keep it moving. A lot to build on. The next mayor of Ocean Springs, Bobby Cox, thanks for stopping by.
Thank you.